we've been talking about all of these issues as regarding the Nigerian economy, but this government has criticized the PDP, for example, the platform you are riding on, as though they perform woefully in terms of the spendings on infrastructure. This government will tell you that they've spent over ₦1 trillion on infrastructure. You are from the southeast. They will tell you that a major factor that your people are talking about, they started work on it.
So when they talk about the amount of money they spend on infrastructure, the question I ask, where is the infrastructure? Where is the infrastructure? Where is the spending? If I give you the amount this government have borrowed, the amount they've borrowed, in 3 years, you could see from Debt Management Office, the borrowing have increased by 115%. So when they came in, we're looking at about 11.something trillion. Today it's 22.7 trillion. And they say that all their borrowing is for capital projects. That's what it's supposed to be. So on the average, 2016, 2017, they've borrowed almost 10 trillion. And if you look at the infrastructure spending in these 2 years, it's actually under 3 trillion. So we're 7.
Are you talking about the FG borrowing, or you're talking about Nigeria's borrowing? Because state governments are borrowing also. You're talking about the federal government. I'm not certain about that figure, though. The 10 trillion you talked about.
Federal government borrowing in the past 2 years is at least thrice the capital project expenditure. I'm not saying about the budget, expenditure. And I want to know, where are those capital votes? Where are those capital projects that have been executed?
Have you driven along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway?
No. Is that the only project that...
Have you used any of the... Have you seen any of the rails that they said it's done?
Oh no, the rails, let me tell you. Don't go into the rails. The rails are being funded by our facilities from China. Mainly, just like the airports that is being completed. The reason why you see the airport projects going on even without delay is because all the counterpart funding that was supposed to be paid to the loan were paid by PDP government.
All?
Quote me anywhere.
But I mean, you might not be so right project, in some sense. You know why?
All the airport projects was being financed from borrowing from China, and there's a counterpart funding which Jonathan's government paid.
We they generated, and this government concluded plans on it, isn't it?
Concluded what?
Jonathan government started. But this government...
I said they've not put anything on it. The counterpart funding has been paid. It's been paid.
Are you talking airports? What about the rails?
Even the rails.
There are 4 different rail projects that we know now. Are you aware?
Which of them?
The Lagos Ibadan. The rail, according to them, is almost in Ibadan.
Can you go and look at the conception of those rails and the inputs in them and the amount of... I'm just telling you that the capital expenditure annually does not... Don't worry, say about this. I'm sure when the campaigns are going on, we'll discuss all these issues and you'll see it.
Right. I mean, the development experts around the world will say there's nothing wrong with borrowing. If you're borrowing within the limit, you cannot... In fact, development experts will tell you that you cannot embark, you can't use your money to do some development project. Is usually the advice that you borrow to do some project. Are you saying borrowing is a no-no? Your government will not borrow.
Don't go there, Shehu. I'm a businessman. And I believe I know a lot about borrowing. I'm also from the finance background. Borrowing is critical. When you borrow for productivity, then it's allowed. When you borrow for consumption, then you have a crisis. The reason why you are seeing IMF today, Shehu, in 2017, May 1, I spoke at the platform and I shouted and warned about our borrowing. nobody took it serious because, of course, I'm nobody. But today, IMF, World Bank, everybody is warning Nigeria against its borrowing.
What would you do
The reason
differently?
is,
What would your government, if you win the election, what would you do
if
differently?
you must borrow, it must be clearly defined on the project that the borrowing is attached. And it must be followed, the program must be strictly followed to its conclusion. And it must be productive and contributive to the economy. Here we were borrowing, Shane. There's no country I know that I've studied where you're borrowing and your GDP or your value is going down. When this government came into being, our GDP was over $500 billion. Our per capita was about over $2,500. Today, it's gone down to about $380. Our per capita come about $1,900, and we have accumulated more debt. Look at our debt servicing today. Can you go and look at our debt servicing to our revenue? Don't look at our GDP.
All right.
There's nothing wrong in borrowing. So we have countries that have over-borrowed, even the countries that use, for example, like China and everything. Of course, China's debt to GDP is about 48%.
All right.
Ours is 20%. But where is the money?
Okay.
You can see where the Chinese one is spent. You can see where the Indonesian one is spent. Even in America, they have almost 100%.
Mr. Obi, let's round up the conversation now because we're out of time. Now, in 30 seconds, if you can tell Nigerians the reason why they should vote your government, you're an economic expert. In 30 seconds, if you can tell Nigerians, what will be that major thing that is critical that you will resolve in 6 months, should you win this election?
Thank you. So that Nigeria can start working again, we'll tackle issue of power aggressively.
How many megawatts are you promising?
We're not going to promise 20 or 30. I can assure you that today, no investment has been done to that sector, no proper policy or program has been executed there. We will put in place what will at least show a very significant increase without putting any number to it. And Nigerians will see it. What we want to do is to move from policy formulation to program implementation. And it will be aggressive. And people will see it. Tackling jobs, tackling issue of poverty. We will see the numbers of poverty reduce. That's what is happening in every country.
Okay. We are definitely out of time, but we would love to engage you more because there are a lot of issues that we couldn't touch on. Time is not our friend on the program. Mr. Peter Obi, the vice presidential candidate of the PDP. It's a pleasure having you on a day as this.
Thank you. I wish Nigeria all the best.
Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you.
The vice presidential candidate of the PDP, Mr. Peter Obi, coming on the show, the first one for the year. In the coming years, it's going to be very interesting in the coming days. So stay with us right here on Channels Television. Many thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Sean Kimale. Bye-bye.